So I think we are about ready to start. Good morning again. Today is the third and last day of the international professional program of the 21st Thessaloniki Book Fair. I have to say again, because this is the last day, thank you so much, all of you, professionals, book professionals from all around the world, for being here, for accepting our invitation. I think that was a great gathering. Seems to be like a forum now, an international forum, where we meet all together and discuss and exchange ideas and good practices and experience. So we learn a lot from each other, and we are getting better. And of course, all this comes to collaborations and more books in translation, more books around the world. Our morning session today is about publishing and translation exchange in Southeast Europe literature and languages. And we're glad to welcome Marta Gorska from Poland, Dejan Anichik, it's okay, this is right, from Serbia, Karpos Publishing House, Naz Sultan from Turkey, and Artak Alexayan from Armenia. And of course, as a moderator, we have our good friend Alex Popescu, who comes and participates in our book fair the last years, and we talk a lot and discuss a lot about this kind of exchanges in this area, in this region, in the end of Europe and between Asia and Europe and Middle East and Mediterranean. So thank you very much. Alex.
Kalimera. Ευχαριστώ πολύ, Nopi. So this is my Greek. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being here. And short introductions being made. I would also like you to make some presentations about your activity and what you're doing, and in a short paragraph, so people would know more about your job in the field. Please, Dejan, we'll start with you because you're on my right. Then we'll see.
Okay, thank you very much. Kalimera επίσης. I start in English actually. I should switch to English. Sorry. Okay, ευχαριστώ. Thank you very much for having me, and I'm not for the first time here. I was invited 7 years ago, but for the first time I've been here back then, but I could I've seen some changes, but very positive changes. The book fair is a little bit bigger. A little bit the production. I'm interested most for the modern book production in Greece, and I'm really positively surprised of the development. There are many books I'm interested for the translations or I've seen the book which are very inspiring for me for our publishing production and our publishing program, so that's very nice. Unfortunately, the taxi driver don't know even today where the book fair is. They think they're confused with some book fair on the beach over there, not far away. So there's still the publicity could be better. As just a notice, a small notice for organizers. You could have more, I don't know, affiches, the posters, as a pin-ups, I don't know, around the city, that the people could be better informed about the book fair in the city. That's something which is missed. I think that could be, but it's something completely different and another different topic. But there are some. Okay, about myself. Sorry. Good. You are moderated. You have a right. You have to put directions. Yes, I'm a publisher from Serbia. Actually, I'm based in Switzerland. I live in Switzerland, but my sister, she is running a publishing house. She is based in Serbia, and I'm somebody who is choosing the books, who is reading the books. But hard work is doing my sister. She's dealing with printing shops, with distribution, with selling, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just reading and choosing the books. It's very nice. Actually, she should be here. The hard work is up to her. Anyway, yeah, we are a publishing house. We are publishing the books since 2005. And actually 20 years, our publishing house is old 20 years. And we started already, from the beginning, we started with philosophy, theory, and things like that, mainly for the university, the books for students, everything what is going to be teaching at philosophical faculty. And at the same time, we started a series of books about Greece, no matter ancient Greece, Byzantine Greece, modern Greece, and we have a success because we in that case we have cultivated a public for that. In the last 20 years, everybody who is interested in Greece knows that could buy at our website the books about traveling to Greece, about history of Greece, culture, art, no matter what. So it's something which is it pays off to have a stamina and to have continuity in some topics, and at the end you have a kind of success. It's not we are not the biggest selling publishing house or the biggest publishing house in the country. No, not at all. But anyway, we have some niche. We have some place at the market. And okay, sorry if I spoke too long. Please.
Thank you, Dejan. Hello, Kalimera. My name is Marta Gorska. I'm from Poland. I represent one of the biggest publishing group on the Polish market. It's the second biggest group on the Polish market. We've got 5 imprints that are focused on mainly each genre, from the literary fiction, commercial fiction, non-fiction, guides, children's literature, sci-fi, fantasy, and I represent our company as a right manager. Also, I prepare analyses about foreign markets, and thanks to wonderful Nopi that we all know and admire, I'm here, and I could meet so many interesting people, not only from Greece, but also from other countries in the region. And I could place in my head somehow the Greece as a book market on my map in my head. So thank you for that. I believe that this is a market that is extremely interesting, and I hope that in Poland it'll be more and more interesting too, because as you probably know, we've got a lot of tourists from Poland that visit probably all Greece. It's like the Polish tourist invasion on Greece this year. But I hope that soon it will also be a Polish reader invasion to the Greek literature. So I will not take your time more. Soon I hope the microphone will back to me.
Hi, my name is Artak. I'm from Armenia. I represent Numek Publishing House. This is the second biggest publishing house in Armenia. I have a background of journalist. I've been working as a television journalist, as a television news manager for over 25 years. And about 7 years ago, we started Numek as a side hobby, and then it becomes more professional, more books, and then about 2 years ago, I and my team left television and focused fully and full-time on Numek. Numek is considered to be a general audience. We started to translating foreign nonfiction, then started to translate foreign fiction, then added local Armenian authors, and now we have everything. I mean, general audience, literary fiction, commercial fiction, non-fiction, and literature for kids. I've been in Thessaloniki many times. I mean, for the last 20 years, my family had a vacation here. My mother is Greek, but I've never been to Thessaloniki as on book fair. I'm very happy and very thankful now for inviting me, and I hope to come here next and upcoming years, not as a fellow, but as a visitor, as a regular visitor of the Thessaloniki. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nazlı from Istanbul, Turkey. I represent Doğan Publishing. It's one of the biggest publishing houses in Turkey. We are part of a bigger company holding, and we have more than 6 imprints, I think 7 right now. So we publish kind of everything. We have adult, we have business books, self-help books, children's, young adult, and I work as a sales and acquisitions editor for 4 years now. So I have been in publishing for 10 years, and it's my first time here, so thank you so much for the invitation. It's great to be here. I also love the city. It feels so familiar to Istanbul too, so it's great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Now, related to your introductions, I would love to know, and the people I think would love to know, which are the most important genres, or let's say the genres with the most audience in your respective countries. Which genres are more sold, or I don't know, perspectives, trends? How is it going in your countries?
Serbia. Yes, Serbia. Could you please have about specificity at our country? You sent us such a question. It's a very interesting question. Questions. Thank you very much, and it was a guideline, very useful to think about it. I could differences. I could split in 2 categories the problems we have. The local. As for us, we are actually specialized for non-fiction. What kind of the formula? Of course, it's as everywhere novels, as a prose. It's not lyrics and not drama, as novels at most. It is the most prominent and the best-selling genre in publicity, and probably self-help books. Probably, I'm not sure. And in the perspective, I think that lifestyle books, things like that. Okay, sorry. And but for the time being, I mean that novels are the most prominent and the best-selling books we have on the market. But it's not specific to Serbian market. It's almost I can guess that it's at least I know that it's for Germany the same situation, and for many other markets. I could be very it would be very surprised if I have heard that lyrics or drama or poetry in some other country is the best-selling or the best the most popular genre. I don't believe it. But anyway, probably in some cases, in cases of some authors, probably that you have a prominent authors who are, I don't know, just writing some interesting short stories. That could be concurrence to novels, short stories. But as for academical books we are doing, they are not the most popular. It's not most popular genre, but it's these books are long-selling books, and that's the privilege for us, because if you have a novel on the market and it doesn't sells in, I don't know, 5 months or 6 months, you probably will never sell those novels. And as for a book, philosophical books, theory, history, I mean, you can sell it in 10 years. I mean, that's the better side of those books. They will never be the best-selling books, but they are long sellers, and we are thankful to have much of them, because you can every year you can sell it on book fairs, or probably they are not on prominent places and at bookstores, but you have on your backlist, and the people are you can sell it through via websites or other platforms, and it's okay to have also such a books. And novels are actually a kind of risk, because if some novel, regardless if that novel is a best-selling book in Germany or England, that doesn't mean that will be in Hungary as well. There is a potential, but there's no guarantee. And if you publish a novel and you translate and you are paying copyrights and you are paying translation and everything, and if the book doesn't work on the market, the failure is complete. I mean, totally. And for academical books, you have at least minimum of you have guaranteed a minimum of books you can sell, because you are selling to libraries, you can selling to institutes, you can sell it to faculties, you can sell. I mean, we have some books that we are even sell before we are publishing them, because they are ordering, such institutions, they are ordering those books. And in the case of novels, it's you cannot expect it. Okay, sorry.
Thanks. About the Polish market and the most successful genres, it's not as easy, because as we are quite a big market, it's very vivid, and we've got each year new trends on the market. So basically the biggest sales got always children's books, because you can imagine that you would rather buy a book for your child, not for yourself, because you can borrow somewhere the book you want to read, or you can go to the library or so on. But for a child, you will always buy the book, especially for a child from 0 up to 5. So this is the strongest part of our children's market. As for adults, of course, novels that are commercial, like romance or soft erotic novels, are very popular, and here we have, of course, some very hot names, but generally it's about the scale. The more you publish, the more you can sell, but of course it's always a risk, as Diane said before. You never know what the success of the book will be. As for other genres, probably as everywhere, young adult for last 3 years was the hottest genre, and everyone wanted to have as much young adult, as many books as possible. Now it's going down a bit, but I believe it's because the market is now fulfilled, and the young people are just older, so they want a bit different kind of book. That's why like 2 years ago, the new genre appeared in all Europe, like new adults. They are still young, but they are are not adults. So that's why also some books that are in the category of young adults, we put also in the category of new adults and the category of commercial fiction. So
Which age is it new?
new, it's like 1920 plus. It's like the students of first, second year, and then until the end of the study, the first job, something like this. Then you've got this coming of age topics and so on. So it's the mixture, but generally it's about, you know, these books that we all know perfectly, and for our bubble it's mostly boring because it's always about the same topics. But I love those books because they bring us profit, and I hope they will stay like this on the market. And we've got two very interesting niche that are very stable in Poland, and they grow each year for last 5-10 years. First is fantasy. We've got a rich history of fantasy book. For example, Andrzej Sapkowski, who is huge everywhere, just published new book from the Witcher world, and it was a huge success. And we've got not only Sapkowski, but many authors who are focused on the Polish folklore, Polish mythology, but not only. They go wilder and wilder, and they are really good at it. And we've got readers for that. And this is quite interesting because it's not only romantasy that goes really well in Poland, but generally fantasy got stable audience, and it's especially for series. And the second genre is totally opposite. It's non-fiction, which is also a stable niche, especially reportage, which develops very well in Poland. We've got also a rich tradition of Polish reportage, like Kapuściński's reportages from before. And also, this is the only genre that we've got like a school for, because on the Warsaw University we've got a department of Polish reportage school. So our reportages are like really quality books. So also we've got some authors that are recognizable all over the world, and this genre is stable for years. And now, thanks to podcasts and new like fresh view on the world, and that people from Poland want to know more about local histories from all over the world, reportage explode, as for the niche, of course. And I hope it will be growing because it's also important for other genres, because when we know more about the other countries, we will want to read more books from that regions. There won't be like something strange and oriental for us. Thank you.
NUMEG is a pioneer of presenting foreign non-fiction self-help books. Actually, when in 2018 we started the publishing house, we were thinking the very first book, what it should be. And we didn't want to kind of translate the first book like Daily Carnegie or something classical, because we didn't sure that we will succeed in publishing. So we pick up this American author, nobody knew about him, and translated the book. And apparently it became the most sold book in the contemporary history of Armenia. The book title is, maybe you know, it's Mark Manson, The Subtle Art of Not Giving Fuck. And then after this, a lot of publishing houses considered and switched to self-help books, and now is the most sold genre in Armenia. The second is thrillers, detectives. In 2020, we presented Cyprian British author Alex Michaelidis. When we started, we announced that we're going to publish his book. Other publisher says thrillers don't work in Armenia. We don't interested in Armenia, but Silent Patient become one of the best sellers. What doesn't work in Armenia? It's soft erotica. I don't know why. We've tried a couple of times. Maybe the books were not the right ones, the Polish ones. Maybe too soft. I don't know. But they don't work at all. Of course, sports books are very popular. Books about Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, Zlatan, etc. These football stars, they are quite popular among schoolboys, and they are becoming bestsellers.
And it's good that they read then.
Yes.
At least you know about Zlatan. So yeah, it's good.
Yes, and there was funny that when we published the book, the very first book was about Ronaldo, and there were like 3-4 fan clubs of Messi, and they were like sending threatening emails and messages to us when Messi will be around, when you're gonna publish Messi. And also, of course, young adults, it's a new genre that is hugely popular in Armenia. But with one footnote, the young adults that has been written by Armenian authors, because we've tried foreign authors, it didn't work, but local young adults works well. And yes, poetry doesn't sell as well.
On the Turkish market, I would say Turkish contemporary authors do very well. Also, crime and thrillers do well for us, but we get them from northern countries, so you might try that. Also, young adult books are very popular in our house too. And for children's side, we have started to see comics more and more now, but also picture books are the best-selling ones usually.
I forget one thing that I don't know, is it publishing or not? For example, now a lot of Instagram and TikTok influencers are presenting their books, like how they achieved this fame or what they suggest. And one of my colleagues from Italy, Paolo, said, like, let's not consider this as a part of publishing house. It's part of the influencers merchandising inform the books, because from our view, it's not literature, but in the literary market, they are the top. I mean, there was a huge crowd of 5,000 children, teenagers, waiting for Armenian influencer to present his book. The book was awful. It's with grammatical errors even. It wasn't even proofreaded. But this is also a genre that is commercially successful. So when influencers present the book, and it's not only in Armenia. For example, about 3 or 4 days ago, one of the well-known, world-known influencers announced that he's gonna write a book, Mr. Beast. And he's gonna write a book with James Patterson. I have no idea what they're gonna write about together, but this is new trend. Influencers trying their kind of stepping into literature, into publishing world.
Yeah, and
I would like to add something, because I forgot about crime and thrillers. They are so popular in Poland that I forgot they exist.
yes, Nopi.
Thank you. It's really interesting to listen to you. Can you tell us more about comics, graphic novels in your countries? Is it something relevant for your industry?
I've got microphone, so I start from Poland. It's getting more and more popular, and it was always something very popular in Poland. We've got our own comic artists, comic book artists like Rosiński, who is the co-author of Torgal. Yes, we've got a lot of Polish artists who create comics books for years, for decades. Very often they are not recognized as Polish. They create, for example, in France and Belgium, so they are in the head of readers connected to those countries. But generally, it's very interesting that the 14% of the comic book market in Poland, it's manga. And this is the genre that is growing extremely. It's growth like 20 up to 40%. We don't have right numbers of growth each year among young people, but not only because the manga is something that is extremely interesting phenomenon, because they've got like mangas for little children and for adults and in each genre. So this is something, but it's for totally different discussion. But as the traditional comic books, yes, it's the growing market. And as for the graphic novels, it depends. We tried, for example, Pride and Prejudice in a comic book, like a graphic novel, or Orwell. It's okay, but it's not like the huge one. And sorry.
Manga are very popular, but we don't have manga in Armenian because it's been already 3 years that we are negotiating with the Japanese publishers. I think in 3 years we're gonna sign a contract because it takes ages and they are not in a hurry to sell rights. I was going to say that last year I was a jury on Reanimania. It's a comic book festival, and the fest announced that they're gonna give grants to develop the idea and also mentors to kind of work on it. I thought that we're gonna receive about 5 to 10 applications for this because I have no idea about comics. We have received 150 applications, so it's a very growing number. We did 2 comic books that sell well. Planning to do so, continue to do so, because it's a new genre that is on the radar, and it's slowly developing and showing sales numbers.
I wouldn't say they are very popular in Turkey, but same goes with mangas with us too. It's been last 2 years they have exploded kinda. We have some fans for comics too, but I wouldn't call it too popular. But for earlier readers, the sales are going very well for us for very young age comics. Not comics, but graphic novels. They start from like 6 to 10 plus. So it's been growing, but I wouldn't call comics popular in Turkey.
Dan?
Okay. Yeah. I know that in Serbia as well, they are very, very popular. And what is very interesting for the comics and for children books as well, it's a world for itself. I mean, completely separated from many other publishing houses or publishing enterprises. I mean, I remember that somebody told me once that he is going to publish more and more comics book because the people who are reading and consume the comics are so loyal fans as the fans of heavy metal groups, and they want to have everything from some series. They are buying everything. What also interesting is that the piracy is not has not impact the modern piracy. I mean, torrent website, if you like, where you can download almost everything from history and philosophy The people who could all probably could do the same for the comics, they don't want to do it. They want to have the book in the analog, in the as a hard copy, because they are collectors. They are collecting the whole series, and for that reason, it's commercially it pays off for comics, and also for children books. I mean, have noticed if you are doing children books or comics book. Or the comics, you have to do only that. I mean, you have to be specialized. It's not so easy to have a publishing house and just one section for the comics. So, as far as I know, there are very, very specialized publishing houses who are doing only that, and only that kind of books.
Or they could have imprints.
Could have imprints and so, but more or less. Because it's completely, for me, it's completely unknown world. Children books, comics, I couldn't do. I wouldn't like to do it because I'm not specialized in it. I mean, I grow up with comics. I don't know, with Corto Maltese and all that kind of stuff. But it's not modern anymore. As the younger generation, they are reading mangas and things like that, and I'm over 50, so it's not, for me it wouldn't be possible to catch up. But anyway, it's interesting. It's interesting mark in itself, and it's very commercially successful.
How is it in Romania, Ileana? Well, in Romania, it's complicated. Sometimes I think it's trending. Sometimes I think it's decreasing. It depends. We go mainly on. I don't know how much manga is read in Romania.
Except for manga, what's interesting for me to hear your
Yes.
Manga, we know manga are successful everywhere, but what I don't know, and I think would be too interesting for me to understand, if there is a domestic market for original comics and graphic novels from artists and authors from Romania, from the countries.
Unfortunately, it wasn't for years, but now it's coming up. It's growing, and we have some imprints now that do this, like from Arthur, from Art. Yes, please.
So I represent a Romanian children's book publisher. We only do children's books. The market for comics in Romania for local authors is just developing, so mostly translations. But, for example, ourselves are starting this line of early reader comics. We have a Romanian author that is doing comics for early readers. But it's just at the beginning, everything. So I couldn't say it's a market for local authors, mostly translations. And because I'm a parent of teenagers, I can say that they are reading manga, but directly in English. So I'm not sure if it's worth translating this kind of books because they are reading English, everybody.
I mean, because sorry to, but there is a phenomenon, for example, in France and Germany, of also graphic novels that are adaptations, as you said, right? Adaptations of literary works in graphic novels, more for an adult audience. But I don't know if this is something that also exists in your countries.
Well, Orwell also was published as graphic novels, even by two different publishers, two different authors. But I think that the titles that are really appealing to parents are the titles that were reading in their childhood. For example, Asterix and Obelix. It's a series. Tantan is not yet on the market. Maybe we'll bring Tantan. We have some plans. But as far as I know, these classical comics titles.
And also this mixed genre between children books and comics. For example, Wimpy Kid. Is it comics or not? So, yes. So Wimpy Kid type of books are very popular. So they are not classical comics, but they are not kids' books. So this intersection of two genres are the huge popular in Armenia. So we are, for example, publishing Wimpy Kid, and it's popular.
Hello, thank you for the very useful information to understand your countries and the demands. And it's interesting to see how the markets are very similar and the demands and the genres are so similar. I am coming from Istanbul, an author, and I'd like to ask this question. What is the market demands expectations define the topics and the genres? How much, what is the percentage of it usually? And how about the global issues that the world is struggling with now? How much they can find a place in your market? Because if the market defines our publications, the books, so how can we include the gender issues, immigration, like wars, peace, intercultural relations, and other stuff? How do you do that? I mean, if the market, like other markets, other sectors, define our books and genres and issues and topics, so how about the other issues which are very important?
Who wants to start?
It's a very difficult question, but this is like a lot of questions in one question. I believe that the book that works on the market is the book with, except of those influencers books and books that shouldn't be on the market. The book that works is the book with the good story. The storytelling is the basic thing that make the book readable and remembered by readers. And for me, sometimes the topic from the description is quite boring, but when I start reading the book, it opened my eyes that the book is good. And I believe that this, what we forgot as a market, is that we should focus on the good stories, not on the expectations and influencers, and on how cheap we can do something, how fast we can translate something. Just focus on the something that will stay, because soon, as we we speak for last 3 days, we will have more writers than readers. So we have to select stories that will stay with us for longer than 3 months, than 6 months. So I believe it is a challenge for us and a big struggle now to bring good stories in good form, and the topic will be always like the something that will be created by the good written story. We bring topics, not the topics bring idea of the book, if you know what I mean.
I would say that, for example, what we do from our experience, the non-fiction should meet the audience expectation, because there is that non-fiction should be something that is your audience needs to read it relevant. For example, during the first Trump presidency, we published Princeton University's professors' books, What is Populism? To understand who are the populists, what they do, how they convince their audience. Or, for example, Yuval Noah Harari's book, Nexus, or Henry Kissinger's latest book about artificial intelligence, to understand what is it, how to work with it. In regards of fiction, we choose books, yes, that should stay longer, and that's why we pay attention to its literally richness, quality of the work, and also the books that open a dialogue and conversation, for example, about women's rights, about family abuse, or something like that. So in terms of non-fiction, you have to look what your audience and your country readers needs. In terms of fiction, how quality is the book? For example, we have translated Bulgarian author Georgi Gospodinov's books. It's not easy read, but because it's a good read, it became a bestseller. So that's it.
I think for the non-fiction part, like important subjects like immigration or women's rights, we all need to follow the trends. I mean, it's hard. We are going through hard times, so those are important subjects at the moment. So people want to read about them. It's not too. It's important that we want to spread awareness on everything, but if it's already what people want to read, so we need to follow those trends too, so they will find their way into our lists, I think.
As for me, we wanted not just to respond on existing interest, but to create interest. And I think that the publisher should do also things like that. And we are, because we are more or less very conservative publishing house. It means that we are publishing university professors. I mean, not experimental books or things like that, avant-garde or something like that. I mean, the books which is academia, but it's a highly political. This had something to do with politics, but I'm not somebody, or we are not somebody who promptly react on the timely topics. But from time to time, in case of Corona, for instance, we have published more books about it. That has a direct impact on us, and yet probably in the case of some wars as well. Somebody proposed me the history of Gaza from French historian. Probably we will publish it on things like that. Yeah, of course, that has a huge impact on our publishing program. It has, but from the beginning, I mean, it depends on what kind of books you publish. In our case, our authors, I don't know, the most of French intellectuals, I mean, they're highly politicized. They are dealing with politics. Derrida, Foucault, Barthes, Bourdieu, all of them we have published. Judith Butler, I mean, all of them we have published, and they all the time you had the politics inside. Not probably politics in sense of that they criticize concrete some government, but they are socially very active or progressive, or they criticize many conservative things in the society we have. In that case, yeah, we react on political issues.
And my last question is that we only have like 3 minutes, I think. I'll anchor it with a word used before our talk: grants. What grants do you have in each country? I think that's interesting also. It's very important for the publishers around the world to know which grants do your countries offer for translations, for promoting literature and so on, programs and so on.
Oh, thank you. As far as I know, there are grants for translations, but at the moment the Serbian government is destabilized. Should be. The people are very unsatisfied and they are protesting. And I think that I know that the funds for culture they diminished. Yes, it's Traduki. Yeah, there is a Traduki. It's a international network, and many countries are inside. It's based in Germany, and some, ich glaube, I think it's a Stiftung, Fischer Stiftung has launched it, and I don't know, 5-7 countries are inside. We have used the phones of them, and we are active in that. So it's possible for many countries from region also to apply for the translations for Serbian authors and vice versa. It's a good project. It's a network, and it lasts at least, as far as I know, around 15 years.
In Poland, we've got Polish Book Institute that's got two most important programs. The first one is the program for publishers, and they support translations for languages. It's the easier to get for the small languages or for the literary fiction. For commercial, it's a bit more difficult, but if the language is small, they support. And the second one is for translators. If there is any translator who would like to prepare like the sample translation in the native language, it's possible to get a grant for this sample translation, so the translator can present the sample to the publishers. Thank you.
I'll be very quick. There is only one translation program curated by Ministry of Culture, and we have succeeded to convince them to put the announcement in English, because they did it in Armenian.
Same case with Bulgaria, as far as I know.
And now there is another challenge, because they have confirmed for 20 translation, but giving money to 8 of them. So now we have to convince them, when you confirm grant, you have to give the money. So, so yes, but this is the only program. We hope to see other Armenian foundations to announce translation grants, but right this moment it's Ministry of Culture. If you have a difficulty to find the link, just write me an email or drop me a line on social media.
And we also have one called TEDAS, funded by the government. They do 2 times a year, every 6 months. It's called TEDA. I can share the info after.
Okay, everybody, thank you for the very, very interesting discussion. I think our time is up. And yeah, we are here for questions after. Thank you.